Hello, Pierluigi here. In this video, I want to talk about what is the best choice between hiring a freelance designer or consultant or a design agency. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to share an alternative solution that is becoming more and more popular these days, since in some instances, especially if you're looking to hire a designer for a SaaS or tech company, this solution can be very, very effective. Now, I myself, I've been a designer for over 10 years now, and I worked in company of all sizes, from startups to Fortune 500 companies, and I hired many designers, and I understand the picture from both ends, so also from the entrepreneur point of view. Now, that being said, I would start by saying that the very first solution of hiring a freelancer can totally be viable, but there are some cons and things that you have to keep in mind, as well as some other pros which might outweigh the cons in your specific situation. So, as a starter, hiring a freelancer can be quite a flexible solution, meaning that you can hire someone, for example, on an hourly basis and simply fulfill your design needs. And essentially not have to pay them a full-time salary, which is one of the main reasons why people hire freelancers these days. But on the other hand, as I've been a freelancer myself, I can tell you that as a freelancer, you either usually go through periods of low work or you're overworked. Now, in my case, I was lucky, if you wish. I was more on the latter. But those are some of the things that you have to keep in mind whenever you're hiring a freelancer. So you, especially like A players, they're going to be hard to reach and they're probably going to have a lot on their plate. So they might not give you all the attention that you might look for a given project if they're not organized, which is another skill which not many freelancers. There are a lot of good designers out there, but it does take a little bit of an entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to freelancing in order to make it profitable. So that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind of what's going on in the back end whenever you're hiring a freelancer. Also, a lot of the times, if you're working with someone on an hourly basis, it's going to be difficult to track timing or have a clear estimate as to how much time is going to be involved for a given project. So that's another thing that you have to keep in mind, and maybe ask the freelancer to give a hourly estimate beforehand in order to avoid the surprises at the end of the project or in progress. So those are one of the things to keep in mind. And on the other side, we have the design agencies, which in my personal experience, they're often more expensive. They're slower in the way they operate. So freelancers, maybe they can give designs faster on average. While design agencies usually have their own SOPs and they're set in their ways, so they're going to be slow to communicate. And talking about communication, another thing that you have to keep in mind is that most of the time you're not going to talk directly with the designer, but you're going to talk with a manager. So even things like that are going to slow down the process. Now, on the other hand, design agencies are good because they enable you to go to a team of experts. So you're not going to rely on that one individual. So, for example, if you hire a freelancer and they get sick for 1 week, it's going to affect your timeline, since there's not going to be anybody else that's going to replace them. 99.9% of freelancers are just solo businesses. So if the main person has something, it's going to have a ripple effect on their business directly. So that's another thing to keep in mind. On the other hand, what I want to discuss in this video is also that there is a new trend coming up, which is the one of unlimited design subscription model agencies. So it's almost like a SaaS for design services. Now, in my experience, since I tried several of these options, I can tell you that there's essentially two tiers. The very first one is the cheap unlimited design services, and they almost seem too good to be true at the beginning, and that is because in my personal experience they are. A lot of the times the cheaper ones are just hiring designers most of the times in third world countries, and I don't have anything against the location of where a designer is. I don't really care, but just keep in mind that they're going to offer salaries which are going to be lower. So usually the design quality is just not a premium design quality. Let's put it that way. Occasionally you could receive premium design quality, but that is the exception. That's not the norm. So it's the exception of the rule. And on the other hand, there are unlimited design services which are created by teams maybe based in America or Europe, but those usually are way more expensive. So I wouldn't say that it's a one size fits all solution, but I noticed that there is these two polar opposites almost in the industry at the moment. And I actually have a solution to that. If you're interested in hearing more about it, you can simply either book a call with me or simply write me an email if it's faster. And essentially, these type of business models work really well for people who have already figured out the strategy, and they mainly need the design output, and they want to do it fast and without spending a whole lot of money. So I would say at the moment there are these three options: so freelancers, design, unlimited design services, and design agencies. And I see the second one almost as a bridge in between the two. So this could work really well for some companies out there, thinking especially tech companies and SaaS companies. But again, at the end of the day, it really boils down to what your personal needs are and what you are looking for in these services or individual. So hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the very next one.